Alright, welcome back to the channel. I'm back on the Toyota again. I finally think I have all my parts. Today we need to get this other rear end set up. Similar to this one, I'm going to take 3 degrees out of this. That way, if I'm sure we'll end up having to shim it, otherwise it's just how that rolls. I went ahead and did some other measurements. I went ahead and measured the frame width to make sure nothing changed over the years. Outside to outside's 41.5, inside to inside's 37, and that's the exact same measurements on this rear end, which is great. I wasn't really sure because I've never done the straight axle conversion on a rear end of one of these 4Runners. Usually we'll keep it coil sprung, but this build is going to be a lot different. So I'm going to get some notes taken. What I did here, this took me quite a while. I did this all off camera because it was a pain in the butt. Right. Basically, I got this part of the housing level, and I got these leveled out. That way I'm not screwing up anything on my degrees. All right, I believe it should actually be 10 degrees because this is very difficult to get super level with the bubble in it. And if you put the meter on it, it kind of rock and rolls just a hair. So if I want to rock this back, I'm going to do 3 degrees. So I'm going to set the new ones at 7. And the new ones we ordered, this was supposed to be for a 3-inch housing, which that is. And we get it, and there's quite a bit of play. I really don't like that. So I use my micrometers. These actually measure out to be 3.5. I don't know how that happened. So I'm just going to put some spacers, get them tacked in there. That way these are equal. I figure I'd just go over how I came up with where these pads are going to be. I'm going to go ahead and get this all tore back out of the vise, get that put in the vise and leveled out. Alright, so got this level. I got this leveled out. The overall width here, so I can get my math, it's 51 3/4. We're going to subtract the 41.5. Got 10 1/4. So we need to come in 5 1/8 from the edge here. It's time for a new scribe. Let's double check. Make sure. All right, 41.5. So that's where we set this piece. Unfortunately, it's not going to take on this side because of the vise being in the way, and I can't move this over. So we're going to have to do one side at a time, mainly because this bump up in the tube would make this walk and be hard to level. So this side, I'll go ahead and get the correct degree on it and get this one tacked into place. And then I'll have to flip this around, re-level it to get this one on. Alright, I'm all set up. Put a little spacer back there to get that spacing correct. The original was 10. I added 3 just to hope that this pinion angle is correct. If not, this is only going to be tacked in for now. So if I need to change it, I can. But for now, I'm going to get pretty good tacks on this, both sides, to where I can start mocking up spring mounts. So let's get this welded. All right, I'm gonna get this spun around, re-leveled, and then I'm gonna match this degree. Then I think we're ready to start mocking up springs. All right, axle's down there, it's all done. Now I'm fighting with some springs. I have a bunch of bushings. But I'm afraid, since we changed gears a little bit with everything, I need to knock this stock bushing out of these forward. Mainly because this hole here for the bolt, this bolt's fairly small, which fits in this, which is no big deal. I can always drill this out if I wanted to leave this style bushing, which might be my only option for this hanger. But the rear hanger, I might get lucky on those. I think that's still going to be too loose. And this size bolt with these bushings and the rear shackle hanger, this is the size that fits in there. This bolt's too small. And I don't have the right bolts either. That shackle bushing shot. So I'm gonna get a plan together and figure out what I need to do about bushings. The front, like I say, I can always get a bolt, drill this out. That's not as big of a deal. The rear is gonna be a little bit more of a deal. The rear is gonna be more of a big deal. Alright, well, that one looks like it needs to be cut off. Hang on to the shims for now. Put these off to the side. This one wants to come off. Alright, ditch these. Holy, okay. I was gonna say, I thought that was bent. Went ahead and welded these up. I'm gonna go ahead and wire wheel this whole rear axle. Once I assemble this, I'm hoping I don't have to tear this one back apart because I already have double the work on the front end. So, all right, we got it cleaned up good enough. I do need to clean this surface before we put the third member in, but I would like to put these plugs in first. Alright, stock one, 24 millimeter, new Allen, 10 millimeter. It's good to change these. These start getting plugged or bent or moved. These are actually a little easier if you don't Loctite them in or rattle them in with a gun. Okay, now we can finish getting this axle together. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spend some time. I'm gonna clean all this up. I'm gonna get the third member up here and I'll get it cleaned up. It's sitting over there on the floor with the rest of the crap. I'm gonna get this in, slide the axles in, and then we'll start trying to figure out leaf spring fitting. I forgot there's more plates need to be painted. Well, I've been busy. Lots of leaf springs. They're everywhere in here. And I'm trying to get a plan of how to center this. I got the axle completely back together. Made a pretty good mess. I have a couple more leaf packs. Let's see. Yes, so in this mess out here, I'm gonna bring those springs back in. I'm gonna bring those springs in. And I'm gonna try and make a leaf pack that once I get this ride height correct, I only have to make minor modifications. All right, so here's my rough layout. I measured, I don't know, from here to here, it was 32, so 16 center. I know I need to move that forward just a little bit more. This is level. So I'm gonna have to move this spring pack forward a little bit, but I'm gonna have to turn that mount around, I believe. Maybe, I guess once I scoot it forward just a hair more. And then this is what I was talking about. Just something kind of half-assed in the back. It's just kind of zip tied. This is not where this will end up being because I don't have full compression on this yet. I still have to measure. I'm just gonna measure the front, the center, and then kind of do a guesstimation of where that spring pack will land, and that's going to give me a good idea, at least a starting point. The most important is where I mount the front part of the spring pack. The rest of it's fairly adjustable just with leaves. So let's see, we're going to guesstimate the we'll just say 14. All right, so if we're gonna guesstimate 14 height so far, that'll put us way down where my thumb's at. So by the time you add the top of your, what is that, spring plate on your axle, we'll just say 16 is a good ride height. By the time I put a few more leaf packs in here and move this mount, I bet you I'm gonna have to spin this around. It'll look better. It'll be flat up here. I think I'm gonna put another big spring, flip that around, and let's see how this lays out. Well, I believe that's probably how we're going to run this setup for now. It's really close to center, and I jacked it up enough to where it got sketchy. This is loose. Let's get this down and check our measurements one more time. So front center was 14, we're gonna add the 16, so we're still down low enough to where once we get the axle, the plates, everything bolted up really good, we'll get a better center bolt built. And I'll mark this front and start doing my measurements. This is still, it's still a little bit on a rocky point, but I think if I get that a little bit more leveled out, I can fill a gap. That's not a big deal. And then once those are on, I want to build this fill plate. I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up and get it welded into place. All right, let's get this mount clamped up here. Square it up, get it on. is a lot of overkill for that frame filler I'm going to put in there. But that's what I had in scrap. I'm going to get this welded up and then we're going to get it welded into place. Alright, let's go get set up over there. Ooh, it's pretty warm. I decided to flat pour out here. Guess it's a good day to be in the shop. Alright, I'm going to get this other side weld measured, get the correct degree on it, welded, and then we're going to start putting this rear end under it. We got to figure out, because when my springs were under there, I forgot to measure for this, so no big deal. Oh, and I still have grinding to do. Alright, I'm going to get that side done. Alright, I got that mounts welded. Now I need to get this rear end moved under there. See how difficult I can make it. Now tires. Okay, I'm gonna get the other side caught up. And then we have to get some bushings out of these leaf springs. All right, the way I get these bushings out, everybody has their own way. I'll show you mine. A drill and a U-joint press works great. Just drill holes, as many as you can get. Inch and a 1/16 socket. Then just smack it out. Same with the other side. All right. This side's a little bit big. I don't have the correct bushings. I thought I did. I thought these were going to be big enough. I'm going to have to order, I don't know, 1/8 inch bigger. I think these are 1 3/8 OD. So I'm gonna need a little bit bigger, 1.5 inches, I don't know. I have the correct ones for the front. I have lots of bushings up here, but these, I mean the rear part, this is for the rear. And it matches the rear hanger, so it won't stop me. We're just gonna put the ones that are a little bit too small. In the fronts, we're gonna see approximately where our ride height will be. I'm hoping it's a little lower than the front, since I'm supposed to lower the front down also. But I want to get this rolling back and forth. That way I have another little project I want to get in here, I think I mentioned. So all right, I went ahead and wrestled in this leaf spring. I couldn't do it with a block in there, which is fine. I'll figure that out. I do need to figure out where we're gonna put that hanger. And it looks to me like, since this is a relaxed area, maybe I'll just line it up right here. So if I put that like that, the rear end needs to go over just a hair, but if I get that welded up there right there, and then maybe I'll just go ahead and see if I got enough steel around here to build the rear shackles. I'll use this side, but I don't think I have enough of it. It's a little overkill. Alright, I'm going to get the rear parts of this mount figured out, and then I'll just guesstimate on my shackle length. Might make them match the front, just so I guess it looks even. I mean, right now we're just kind of guessing on ride height. We'll figure out the rest later. Alright, I got the rear end. Both springs are on. I ordered the correct bushings for the front, so they're done. I still don't have the right bolts, but bolts are easier to change. It is sitting down on its own weight. It's a little soft for my liking, but we'll deal with that later. I think this is about the correct ride height I want overall, because I already know the front's too high, the rear might be a touch low. Alright, after editing this video, I realized that it's a very long video. If you can notice in the background, there's a lot more to come. So I'm going to end it here. And everybody, thanks for watching. Comment if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns. Thanks for watching.